What's up, people out here in Media Pass World? First off, I want to introduce the man of the hour that we have here, Mr.
Greg Garrett.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Greg Garrett, could you please explain to the people of the Media Pass TV platform who you are and why you're here today?
Well, I'm here because you guys invited me. That's why I'm here. But just here to talk to you. I'm an open book, and I've been in the community my whole life. Been in the Hampton Roads area. Grew up here and developed a business here and a family, and just continuing to grow the business and relationships. And I'm happy to be here.
And the business you have is a real estate business, right?
Yeah, we have. We're getting ready to open up our 8th business, but we have. Primarily, I have been a real estate guy my entire life since I was 19 when I got my real estate license, and became the #1 agent in the marketplace when I was 25. Opened up the company at 26, and now it's getting ready to open up the 8th company that has nothing to do with real estate, but still most of my time and most of the people that I have hired and have brought into the business have been into the real estate business and multiple different portions of the real estate business. We're also into a yachting. We have 4 businesses in the yachting space that's all comes under one parent company.
That's amazing. Could you talk about this new endeavor that you're actually going out on?
Yeah, getting ready to open up in Suffolk an IV therapy clinic, and we intend to open between 12 and 20 locations throughout the state of Virginia.
And how does that go with, how did you even get into that? Like from going from real estate to now a therapy clinic?
Well, it doesn't really relate, except for what I'm really doing and where my focus has been for a long time is that back in my 30s, I realized that as opposed to being in the real estate business, I was really in the career development business. And my role was to help people build a career. A career where they can make more than they need to live on to change the trajectory of their family and create generational wealth, and then do something meaningful in the community or the world. And so I feel like I've been able to do that. And so what I want to do is now train other people to do that. So since I was an expert in real estate, that was the natural course of creating a conveyor belt of people to come into an industry that they're not familiar with and be able to launch themselves into a place where they can have a very meaningful career, as I said, making a lot more than they need to live on, and then doing something to really make a difference in their future generations in their family. And then once that happens, or along the way of that happening, really make an impact and a difference in the community. So I'm really, even though it's primarily the real estate business, I'm really at the core essence in the career building business, helping people build meaningful careers.
Correct. So you've built a legacy for yourself, and you want to take it part of yourself and what you have incorporated in your life to help other people build their legacy as well.
Yeah, I believe that anybody that is willing to outwork and outserve their peers can become wealthy, but wealth is only the means to do something that's meaningful. I think wealth by itself is a multiplier. It can multiply greed, it can multiply selfishness, or it can multiply generosity and a giving spirit and helping. So money by itself is not the goal. It's really being able to have a career and a pathway in life that's good, that money will accelerate, and so that you can help more people if you're trying to help people, do more things for people if you want to do that.
And it sounds like you're saying that the best way to do that is to serve others in a way to help them succeed.
Right, and so those are the people that I can help. If you're a person that wants to outwork and outserve, or willing to outwork and outserve your peers, some people it comes natural, some people have to work at it. Yeah, so what I found is if people are willing to outwork and outserve their peers, I can help them. I can help them be successful in the real estate space, in the mortgage business. I can help them in the yachting business, and now in the IV therapy business. I mean, the things that I'm involved in are things that we have the staff, we have the people, we have the patterns, we have the principles, we have the steps to take to be successful. But nobody's going to be successful if you're not willing to outwork and outserve. You may as well just get a 9-to-5 job and fill in the blanks, or get a government job or something, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're the type of person that is willing to work harder and do more, then I can really help you to turn that and monetize that and turn that into a generational wealth and a lifestyle that's significant, but more importantly, something that will take you to a level of helping other people.
It sounds like teamwork is very important in what you do as well.
Yeah, teamwork is critical. You have to be able to be an individual performer, but if you're not willing to be an individual performer inside of a team, you won't go very far, and you won't get as far. You won't do as much, and you won't have as much fun.
Do you think that can be taught, or that's something that just has to be naturally in you?
I think most of us can be taught to be a part of a team. Again, the only reason you wouldn't want to be part of a team is because you fear others. You've had life experiences that you're going to have PTSD that people have taken from you, but you can still develop and to be a team player. Another person that doesn't want to be a team player is somebody who's very selfish.
Right. So how do you get over previous challenges or like hurdles? Say if someone has done bad business with you, how do you not carry that, harbor those same feelings towards the next business or next person?
So again, the principles in the Bible of forgiveness and love. There's a scripture that a lot of people maybe have never seen or never read or didn't pay attention to, and it's 1 Peter 4:8, and it actually says the first two words, above all. That's important. When the Bible has one verse that says above all, that says this is a big deal. It says above all, love others with fill in the blank love. And that fill in the blank in 9 different versions of the Bible has 9 different words to describe that one adjective of how we're supposed to love others. And the words are extreme, sincere, deep, long-lasting, fervent. Those are the adjectives of how the different interpretations have figured out how to take that Greek word and turn it into an English word.
Right.
And it's a level of extreme in terms of how we're supposed to love others. So that's one thing. So if somebody does you wrong, you're supposed to love them in return. Right? If your enemy is hungry, you're supposed to feed them and give them drink. If they're thirsty, you give them drink. And for the lack of forgiveness is going to only destroy you. So somebody does you wrong, that you just feel like, gosh, you feel sorry for them because there's something wrong within them. Correct. And then try to bless them back and see if that'll help change their life.
What is the Lenora Matthew Lifetime Achievement Award, and could you explain that?
So I just got a phone call of, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago from somebody that works for the Hampton Roads Volunteer.org and said that I'd won this award. And I didn't even know if it was like a prank call or somebody was, what do they do on MTV, pranking you? Or what's it called? Punking you. I didn't know if somebody was punking me or what, but it was... I didn't think so, but I didn't, as far as I knew, I hadn't really talked to this lady, and I didn't really know the name that well. But she said, I'd won this award. And immediately I thought of 2 people that when I looked at the list of the people that had won it before me, it was an impressive list. And I thought of 2 people that should get it before me. And I told her, I said, why don't you give it to me after these people get it? Because I said, there's some people that deserve this more than me. But it's about being a volunteer. It's about being a volunteer and spending time outside of your business doing something for others. And so they have seen something in me that they thought was worth recognizing.
So you really like helping others. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I struggle a little bit because there's a scripture that says when you do something good with your right hand, don't tell your left hand. Mm-hmm. That's a heavy instruction, right? I mean, it's your left hand's going to be right there watching it, but it says if you do something good with your right hand, don't even tell your left hand. So you're not supposed to tell anybody. And then there's another verse that says, let your light shine before men. Well, if it said, let God's light shine before men, it would be easy to see. That makes sense. But let your light shine before men. So it's always a struggle to figure out when you're not supposed to tell your left hand if you did something good, and when your light should shine so that others could see that and be motivated by that and be encouraged by that to do something significant to help others.
So which one do you more live by? Do you live by...
I try to live in between and say which one is it, which applies, because they seem to contradict. Right. So it must be that one instruction applies in certain situations and one must apply in other situations, because I accept the fact that the Bible cannot contradict itself. Okay.
So you're religious and you try to find a balance between life and certain things, especially in the scripture.
Yeah, and I would... Religious is a kind of an odd word, especially today, is how we interpret that. But I am a Christ follower, and I do believe the Bible's the Word of God, and so those instructions inside of the Word mean a lot to me.
Okay. Okay, so before we started this, you were talking about that you just did your biggest sale of your career,
Yeah.
right? Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, and it was the biggest real estate transaction of my career. So
Okay.
I put together a group and bought a piece of property and bought another piece of property adjoining it, and we're putting together an industrial park
Okay.
that's going to be almost 1 million square feet, 840,000 square feet. And so it's going to be something that will provide about 300 jobs in my hometown of Hampton. And it's
Congratulations.
very
Thank you. Thank
exciting.
you
And
for from Hampton Roads.
yeah, and it's just very exciting to be able to do something like that. It's much bigger than anything I've done in the past. And I've brought in partners and others to do it. And I'm now have taken a back seat to people that are really experts at developing industrial parks. They've built 122 million square feet around the country.
Jesus.
And they know what they're doing. They have the horsepower to do it. And so I've taken a back seat to them. And now I'm a passive partner inside of a partnership that's building this. But I was the one that got it started and brought in some partners to take it to level next and level next and level next. And then now we'll be breaking ground any day now.
Okay, congratulations on that new endeavor, and I love to hear it. So spiritual, you love to help people, volunteering, uh, it all just sounds amazing. I know you're a man of time, and you actually have another thing to get to. So we actually have some pictures over to your left that if you flip them over one by one and show them to the camera and just kind of explain what was going on in that moment, and we call this section Memory Lane. So if you would like to, indulge in this.
Memory
please.
Lane.
Memory Lane, yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that was Pharrell Williams, the Mighty Dream
Hmm.
conference, and it was just cool to be there, sitting in the audience, watching people, win awards and get significant, tangible checks to be able to do something to fulfill their dream.
And what was your part in this?
I was just in the audience.
Oh, okay.
I was just there.
You were invited, or
Yeah,
you just
I'm
went?
just,
Okay.
just participating because I really believe in what Pharrell is doing and what the organization is doing, and I just love seeing that happening here inside of 757.
Personal relationship?
Nope,
No personal. Okay.
no, not yet.
Okay. Hope to.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was at a circus with a couple of my grandchildren and my lady, and that was just all of a sudden this little, I guess it was a little girl. It might have been a little lady. I couldn't
Right.
tell, but it looks like a teeny tiny lady was floating through the air with helium balloon, and we were just, they would go like 50,
Passing
60,
up.
70 feet. And just, they would land, she would land kind of softly on somebody and you push them away. And so as I saw her coming over, I said, okay, I'm going to give her a lift, and pushed her back.
That kind of looks like Cirque du Soleil.
It was Cirque du
Cirque du
Soleil.
Soleil, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cirque
for
du
sure,
Soleil. Oh, wow. All right. So that is one of the coolest moments of my life.
Okay.
So back in the year 2000, I went down to El Salvador and Honduras. I went down to El Salvador at the time. Now we're working in Honduras and now in Guatemala.
Whoa.
But I went down to El Salvador looking for orphans to try to help. And we ended up finding an orphanage with 240 kids and 5 adults working with those 240 kids. Babies all the way through teenagers, boys and girls. There wasn't a commode in the whole place that flushed. There wasn't a shower that worked. It was just a nasty 105-year-old facility. Anyway, so we started something called Orphan Helpers, and now we've helped thousands of orphans and incarcerated kids. Most of the kids we work with in El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala are gang members, MS-13, 18th Street kids that are incarcerated. So this is a reunion for some of the kids that have gotten out and are making it on the outside. And what was really cool is we have Orphan Helper t-shirts. That's the name of our organization. But I walked into this reunion in Honduras, and I saw these kids with a different t-shirt on. And that different t-shirt was a t-shirt of a new organization that the graduate kids that have come out of jail, out of prison, out of the gangs, They've started their own organization to help kids not get in the gangs.
Congratulations! So
And
you
so
made a
to
big
see
difference.
that generational blessing that's happened, and now these kids are handing it down. And so, but it's just amazing. A lot of people involved in the organization, but I was the one that kind of got it started.
Congratulations! That's amazing. And this is a charity organization.
Yeah, it's a 501c3. Yep.
Is this the only like organizational foundation that you have as far as like helping kids or anything?
Well, I do a lot of things. I'm involved in a lot of things, but this is the biggest thing I've ever done. Yeah, in terms of really helping people and creating an organization. And I didn't create it by myself. I mean, I think it was a God ordained thing, and God just used me as the catalyst to be able to do this. But there are tons of people that have gotten involved, and we have an executive director that runs it and a board of directors that's running with it, and they've now taken it into Guatemala, and there's no limit to what can happen in this organization as we help these kids that really don't have a safety net, because in our country we have the Boys and Girls Club, we have the YMCA, we have the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, we have counselors, we have all types of help, right? We have a lot of things, and we have problems, and we have poverty, and we have places that if you grow up in one zip code, you're a lot more likely to succeed than grow up in another zip code. But down there, they have zip codes that the police do not enter. They have zip codes that the gangs completely control. So as opposed to having holes in our safety net, which we have, and we need to keep working on them, these guys have no safety net. Yeah, and so this is cool to see what's happening down there, and to see all these kids that are now starting their own businesses, starting their own charities. One of the first two kids that I really took a liking to and really started helping now is 38 or 39 years old, and has a wife, a child, and is the administrator of an orphanage. And this is a kid that I met in an orphanage at 15 that wouldn't even look me in the eye. He was so shy. And so we've helped orphans, but again, most of the kids we've helped have been kids that are incarcerated, kids that have committed very, very serious crimes, because this is the murder capital, the two murder capitals of the world among youth. Violence, youth on youth, is El Salvador and Honduras. Memory lane. Okay, so that's the same celebration. Okay. That's actually that was El Salvador. This celebration, the one I first showed you, is Honduras. We had two reunions for that trip. All right. Okay. So that's again the trip down to El Salvador, Honduras. I believe this is Honduras. Yep, this is Honduras. And so those are 4 girls that were in the gangs. I believe 2 of them were in jail when we met them for murder, the other for extortion, and the other I think might have stabbed somebody. They're beautiful. Their hearts have changed. God's turned their lives around, and these are kids that we met when they were incarcerated. Yeah, the 3 biggest crimes down there of the kids that we work with are murder, attempted murder, and extortion with threat of murder. They don't play. They don't play. It's a very, very kill or be killed society, and most of the kids growing up here believe they'll make it into adulthood. Most of those kids down there assume that they won't, and they're acting out accordingly. And revenge is the centerpiece of society. And it's where I'm telling you, forgiveness and love should be the centerpiece of all of our hearts. Correct. They start their day with revenge. That's what they wake up to do. So again, back down to that same trip. So one of these kids, let's see, this kid is going to college, started his own business. She's 1 year away from being a lawyer. I met her when she was 11 years old. She's 1 year away from being a lawyer, and she wants to be the lawyer for orphan helpers in El Salvador. And this one is in nursing school. These are all kids that we met when they were incarcerated, except for her. We met her in an orphanage, and we met these 2 kids when they were incarcerated. So that's just me with one of my extra nephews. So extra grandsons. We just had a day together at iFly in Virginia Beach. And so I have a young lady that came into my life when she was in college. She got very involved with orphan helpers, and her dad died while she was in college, and so she's kind of adopted me as a dad, and her 2 kids are my extra grandkids. So I have a bracelet with 11 names on my wrist. 4 of them are direct grandkids. 3 of them are a niece and 2 nephews because my brother passed away, and so I'm the only granddad. And so instead of being a great uncle, I'm a granddad to them. And then there's a young man that moved in with us when he was a teenager, and the young lady that I just mentioned, and that was just a day with her. Now 11-year-old son. He's my oldest grandson, but technically not DNA connected, but
Right.
he's my oldest grandson.
That's beautiful.
Oh, so this is just a little awards presentation for our agents. We had these were some of our top agents of the quarter, and so we just took a picture, snapped a picture out in front of the sign after we did the awards ceremony. And so it's just, it's exciting to help people at all levels, but
Right.
and so when you can help people turn their life around so they're not going to die in El Salvador, Honduras, but then up here where we're not as concerned about people dying,
Correct.
and the death rate is nowhere near like it is down there, helping people come out of the military or come out of the teaching profession or come out of some other profession or start off like I did at 19 years old and then to build a successful career is very, very rewarding.
Well, we definitely would like to thank you for your time. I know you got to get going. We very appreciate you, and Media Pass appreciates you. And you definitely said we can do this again, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and we will definitely schedule a time where we can do this again.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.